It's Drink Wine Day this week, and at Kaleidoscope, we'll happily raise a glass of red, white, or anything in between. In ancient Rome, women were forbidden to drink wine, and husbands could punish them for it. Romans also gave us the tradition of toasting, dropping bread into wine to soften its acidity. Happy Drink Wine Day and welcome to Kaleidoscope. I'm Savithri, Rodrigo. From the Kaleidoscope studios, Dr. Dhanan Senathiraja, Prasad Hettiarachchi, and a roundup of the week's news in Neighbours are dancing in the garden, but not in the way you think. Barefoot Gallery Colombo brings back award-winning artist Prasad Hettiarachchi.
මගේ චිත්‍රාවලිය පටන් ගන්නදී මම උත්සාහ කරන්නේ ලංකාවේ වෙනස් වීම සම්බන්ධයෙන්.
His canvases capture Sri Lanka's rapidly changing landscape, where land is gained, lives are displaced, and stories unfold.
මුල් කාලේදී මගේ චිත්‍රවල මූලික වුණේ කොළඹ නගරයේ වෙනස් වීම.
What started off as introspection into Colombo quickly spread to the rest of Sri Lanka.
ලංකාවේ භූමිය තුල භෞතිකව සිදුවෙන වෙනස් වීම තමයි මගේ චිත්‍රවල මූලික තේමාව බවට පත් වෙන්නේ.
Looking at the transforming landscape remains his theme throughout, depicted in miniature symbols drawn straight from his world. From calligraphy to stage sets, from UNESCO in France to children's desks at home, his art knows no boundaries, no studio walls.
මම කැමති බලන කෙනාගේ අදහස ඒකට ඇතුළත් කරන්න.
Prasad wants the viewer to read his canvases. He then captures those in the landscape of his canvas, just like Neighbours dancing in my garden. Stay connected with Kaleidoscope on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn for all our latest stories. Kaleidoscope has some amazing partners: SriLanka Live, CDB, and The Daily Morning. Thank you for being a part of our journey.
යවන්න කෙවන්න ගන්න මගෙන් මට ලැබුණු cool appetizer CDB Self.
Introducing CDB Self, the digital wallet that makes life easy.
CDB Self.
And now, this week's headline makers, news at lightning speed. Welcome to CDB News in a Blink. Post the IMF Managing Director's visit, Sri Lanka and the IMF begin a new path, shifting from crisis stabilization to a broader development agenda focused on higher growth, governance reform, and rural economic transformation. Sri Lanka is set to embark on an advanced reform agenda post-cabinet approval with a $400 million World Bank facility. Sri Lanka's PMI for manufacturing in January sees improvement, an index value of 56.1. And here's the markets for this week. The all-share price index at the Colombo Stock Exchange edged closer to 24,000 points, even though there was a minimal foreign interest and average daily turnover levels dropped significantly. Oil prices dropped to below $62.50 per barrel as Iran and the United States concluded indirect nuclear negotiations in Geneva with Oman acting as mediator. After falling by more than 2%, gold prices moved back up again to above $4,900 per ounce, still lower than the $5,300 levels seen just 2 weeks ago. Good news! Travel Plus Leisure magazine named Sri Lanka the most affordable destination to retire in 2026. Kung Fu robots perform in unison at China's Spring Festival Gala.
focus on your goals. We will take care of the risks. SriLanka Life.
Beyond numbers, that's what we're going to talk about today. In 2024, World Vision Lanka reached nearly 100,000 children and families across the island, delivering vital support in health, nutrition, education, livelihoods, and climate resilience. But behind every figure is a story: a child who gets a proper meal, a family earning a sustainable income, a community learning to weather disasters. Today on Kaleidoscope Dialogues, we sit down with Dr. Danan Senatiraja to unpack these numbers, reveal the real impact, and explore how data translates into lasting change. You have 8,491 new sponsors. Now, how does World Vision Day's new sponsors translate into real impact for the nearly 100,000 children?
The money that the sponsors send doesn't go directly to the children or to the child's family. It goes for the benefit of the community itself. In the sense that if there are, for example, 6,000 children in one area program, the funding goes to the benefit of all the children in that area program. For example, we go and build a school that not only benefits the sponsored children, it also benefits all the children in the community.
So, over 6,500 people were helped in the health and nutrition area. What were the biggest improvements that you saw, and what were the gaps that remain?
Working along with the government, we identify the malnutrition aspect early. So what we try to do is we try to bring about a mindset change in the parents themselves, in particular the mothers, to address the issue of malnutrition by going for sustainable methodology, in the sense to look for food or food sources that are locally available, which tend to be cheaper and also more environmentally friendly. And then we have a follow-up program with the parents along with the government authorities of that area.
So, Danan, what does the improvement of water, sanitation, hygiene services mean for community resilience?
Water is life. It's life-giving. At the same time, it's also about the dignity of the community. If you have access to proper water, drinking water, as well as for cleaning and washing, then it also adds to their dignity. It allows the children more time to sit and study. One of our largest projects were in 2 phases in the south, in Neighbours, which was funded by a UK bank, and it was for an amount of 1.35 million US dollars. And this is still the largest gravity flow water project in Sri Lanka's history. And it provided for at least 2,000 families, plus government offices, police stations, hospitals, as well as schools and temples.
So, you also do a number of economic sort of initiatives that are in place. So, savings groups, income programs, producer group. How has that translated into sustainable income for families?
These tools are primarily to help them become independent. And my favorite are the savings groups. So, generally, more than 95% of the savings group members are females, and many of them have never worked before or had any source of income. They are totally dependent on their husbands, and sometimes that can also lead to marital abuse within the home. So there are these women who are now become independent, and they are able to save, and about 90% of them invest in sustainable business models, small businesses. As a result, they become independent, their dignity is improved, and in addition to that, there are enough sources for their children's education. So at the moment, we have 2,000 active savings groups and 40,000 women actively participating in them. And over a period, the actual savings have been altogether 4 billion rupees. And they also have a social fund to help others, which is now standing at 42 million rupees.
So, looking forward to the next few years, what are your boldest priorities?
Okay. The initial one for the next couple of years would be the recovery after the impact of Cyclone Ditwa. We believe that Sri Lanka is on the verge of another spurt of growth, which means we will have pockets of poverty rather than general poverty all over Sri Lanka. So we will concentrate in those areas. Education is very important to take them up to the next level. So we are going to be completing 50 years in about a year's time. So we are doing a project, 50 schools in 50 weeks. So we are going to provide smart boards and other equipment to bring the schools up to the 21st century standard. Our goal is to eliminate malnutrition and have a healthy childhood for our children.
So, treat yourself to a big glass of any color this drink wine day. We will see you next week.